wow. So I actually never hit the go live button on YouTube. Yikes.
Dang.
Whatever, man. Whatever. That's what happens when you're a noob.
When you're a noob. Wow.
Everyone's a noob sometimes. I'm just a noob right now.
We all gotta start somewhere.
Did I name that? Or did I completely lose my train of thought? New file. Uh, resources.cpp. Okay. And also new file resources.h.
I wonder if anyone on Twitch.
Okay. Stream back up. Like, I'm really quite annoyed that that happened. I'm pretty sure it was Windows updates. Like, I can't even just run VirtualBox on a Windows machine and get a reliable computer. What I got instead was uh, Windows decides to update and reboot my RTMP server. So, you know, it's not the end of the world, but it is a huge nuisance.
Yeah.
Okay, Twitch come back alive too? Seems fine.
Are people watching on YouTube?
I don't know if anyone watches on YouTube, but I want to save it to YouTube so it can be watched in its entirety later.
Understandable.
You know, I should also try to, like, get some stuff done, which is what I was doodling. Where's the doodle?
Yeah.
See,
That's
really,
not the doodle.
it would be handy if you could bring up the doodle, and I could just be like, hey, pull that up. That would
You
be
have
cool.
4 viewers.
Incredible. All right.
You're famous.
Hi, guys. Thanks for joining. Is that what Twitch streamers say?
Yeah. You got it.
Nailed it. Okay. Oh,
Nailed
so
it.
go ahead. I will.
Oh, viewer count just went down. 2 viewers.
Hi, guys. Thanks for joining. Screw that.
Dude, he actually said something? What the heck? Dude, I hate when people acknowledge my existence.
Okay. Okay, this is a bad idea, but it's how I'm going to do it. I think I need to include common here. And how does this all work? So let me go to Game Engine. It's one of these alphabetically listed files. And we have a font. Game Engine get font, return font. What I'm going to put here in comments, because I'm a coward and I want to be able to reverse it fairly easily when it does not work,
Dang.
would be return resources font. So
New here. Go par.
say
What
what?
are you working on? New person in chat, man.
Oh.
Oh, that's what I can do. I can like read out chat for you.
Yeah,
Trust.
that would be great. I'm glad we figured that out like an hour into the stream.
Hi, Gopar. You know, we're doing a game engine right now. You know, pretty cool.
Ugh. Look at my pale underarms while I stretch. So we'll return this out of the resources thing we're making. Resources is really just going to include that font for right now. I think that might be a capital F. Let's see what the compiler says if it yells at me. I don't know if
Compiler's gonna yell at you. It's gonna be like, no, you can't do that. Syntax error, forget colon.
we do need a implementation for this class because we're gonna have to say. By the way, I forgot to say static. So it's gonna be static fonts, and this should be say like static SF fonts resources fonts semicolon. It just initializes it to really just exist.
What's the right music for this?
Something that kind of like slowly builds up in complexity but never actually goes anywhere. That's actually a great summary of my life. Okay, let me see if I got the gist of this. So, class such and such. Do I need to inline them? That's a good question. Looks like no, and I don't know. Don't remember what the purpose of that is on a attribute like that.
Hopefully, you'll learn something. I don't know if that's the goal or not.
Static. Type. Identifier. And then in the implementation. Type. Full identifier. Semicolon. Looks good. So in Game Engine, I just had it. This is the part that I would edit out of an actual YouTube video. Where else do we use fonts? We have get font, return resources font, and font.load from file. I'm going to now just say resources fonts. The idea behind this is just I'm putting it in. I'm using a static class like a namespace just to make a global variable. Is that possibly pointless? Maybe.
Yes. Pointless.
Resources.h. Now let's.
Here on this channel, we love doing pointless things.
Yeah,
that should be our like motto, like slogan.
I mean, pointless things are the most fun things. Where's my build scripts?
That is true.
Not in source. Build Linux.
And like no one needs to know how to do card tricks, but like, you know.
I wrote a bash script to do the compilation because I can't be bothered to learn how to use make. Does it actually just look in the file? I can't even remember how my own script works.
Coding tutor can't be bothered to learn something.
Dude, there's only like a million things to learn. You have to draw the line somewhere. It's like, you know what? I'm not...
No, you never stop learning.
Yeah, you never stop learning, but guess what? I didn't get to this thing yet. I've been learning the whole time, and I still did not get around to learning how to use make. Oh, let's see if it actually MCP... Oh, look, R! It found it, and it doesn't like it. Yes! Static may not be used when defining, as opposed to declaring a static data member. That's in the C++ file. Resources CPP. Static.
See, what?
Yeah, I read that. I understood that when I did it. I was aware it was wrong when I was doing it, but did I fix it? No. I let the compiler yell at me.
Wow, very insightful.
Honestly, just reading the compile error messages is like the most important thing you could learn to do.
Really?
Yeah.
How to understand syntax errors.
Well, I mean, like, so many times people will, like, literally be paying me by the hour for help with their homework, and their whole thing is, like, I can't figure out what's not working. And basically my job is to help them see the error message on the screen and break it down to them like, well, that means this.
Basically, you're just a translator.
Oh my god, guess what? There's still fonts, which means
Wow.
it was loaded to the right spot, which means now I can go to
You're a big
UI.
brain.
Go ahead. I thought I heard an echo. I can go to UI test scene, not UI test scene. That's the wrong thing. In source, let's look at the UI menu class. And this requires in its constructor a font, a reference to a font. But I don't want a reference to a font there. I want it to just be constructed with no
Most
argument.
Twitch streamers use Vim. What's Vim?
Vim is the text editor, and I use Vim. I'm trying out this weird GUI for this jam. The jam runs
But
through
what is
September
it?
3rd. It is called
Vim. Programming language?
can't remember what it's called.
Oh, it's a text editor. But why would they need to use that?
This one's called Lapse, and I use Vim as my like daily driver, but I just wanted to try a little bit different code editor environment for the purpose of this jam. I'm just trying to stretch
Dang.
out a little bit. Like Vim is great. I don't have it super tightly configured. I could use like a lot more plugins, but again, only a million things to learn, and that's just not up on my list yet.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make a constructor for this, which has no args, and bless you, I think.
Oh no, I'm whistling.
Yeah. It'll do the
I
same
think
thing
it's pick.
as the other constructor, but it's also going to say font equals. Is there a leak in here? Somebody call a plumber.
Guys, I think it's leaking.
So basically, the no argument constructor is going to use the default fonts. So
Oh.
what that should let me do, because almost every other call to, or everywhere you see a font, it's calling the game engine, it's calling that method get fonts. But now I can just short circuit it, and I can add a no arguments constructor, which I need to add to the header file here.
Interesting.
You're struggling, but I appreciate it.
What? I'm not struggling.
So that should be a publicly available constructor. And with that, I should now be able to just test build it again. The default constructor, well, it's not default. I actually defined some behavior in it. But the no argument constructor for UI menu will be all the way down at the bottom of the alphabet for UI.
Nice.
We're not going to get copyright struck from that, are we?
No, I don't think FNAF is gonna copy me.
Ooh,
Hopefully not.
resources have not been declared because I am not using an IDE, and oh, I know what I'll do. Where's game engine? CPP. Take this out. I'm going to go to common. No, that's circular, isn't it? Resources includes it, so I'll leave that. Let's put it a couple more places. Kind of like as I use it, I guess.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
When's bedtime?
I have no idea.
Probably do this for 30 more minutes or an hour.
Probably. Do people like stream software and game development?
Yeah, I didn't invent the category. Uninitialized member in class
You
SF
didn't invent
font.
it. Oh dang.
Yeah, I didn't make up the category.
They all have like no viewer.
Well, I hate to put it this
Oh,
way, but it's kind of a boring subject. It's
what?
like,
No.
how much do you really want to look at a stream where someone's like, "What the heck does that mean?" And that's actually what software development is really like in the day-to-day trenches of it, you know? Okay, so this says uninitialized reference in member. Oh, I have to initialize it because it's a reference. Can I get around this by saying, here's UI menu, UI menu. Yeah, I have to do it in the constructors. Yeah, and I'll say resources.
Bye.
This
Go
is
par.
this feels like a hack.
I think that's what you're doing right now.
Hacking?
Yeah.
It's it's the classical definition, which is I'm just kind of following the error messages as they pop up, right? I'm just struggling along. I'm not trying to make perfect software, I'm just trying to make anything that works at all, which is good. There's still text on the screen, so that does not seem catastrophically broken. Okay, so time to pat myself on the back. Let's do this part.
Wow. You did.
Okay. Red.
Streamer mode is enabled.
So this one should be like checkaroonie. That's done. Checkaroonie. That's done. Okay. So next up, let's try to make these things drawables. That actually could be complicated and error fraught, but regardless, that is what I wrote on the checklist, so that is what I'm going to try to do. Because let me show you what I'm talking about here for what's going on. If we look at the UI menu, it has a vector for text, it has a vector for buttons, and it has a vector for index sprites. And the way those work is I have to go through those three lists separately. I keep saying list, but it's a vector. Vector is a C++ version of a resizable array. I can put captions in there and draw them in a whole list of captions. But then I also have to draw the buttons separately and the sprites separately. I want to instead say, get rid of those, and it'll be standard vector, UI drawable, children. And this should actually be on the UI drawable class or just the menu. I don't know. I haven't decided that yet. I guess I'm going to decide it now by choosing to do one of these
Menu.
things.
Trust. Menu.
Trust.
Trust.
And these methods are all kind of ugly too. Like, why are they different? Like, obviously because a button is different from a sprite, but you should really just have something that says add child and it picks
Add
based
child.
on... Oh yeah. Should I call it adopt? Is that more friendly? thinking. It's the other tough thing about streaming is that I have to think out loud. Otherwise, I'm literally
Dang.
just looks like the camera froze. Like,
What do you mean? You just gotta stay still.
okay. Uh, so I think what I'll do. What does this thing have? I have a render method, and it renders to a window. What? Why in the heck would that? Like, this should be a resource too. The window's not going to move throughout the whole program. I just need it to be basically a global variable, right? Like, why is that? Why is it better like that? It's oh boy, cross the legs. We're getting serious now. Like, why does this need to be passed as the argument every time it renders? It's always rendering to the same window. Is multi-window rendering on my to-do list anywhere? Could you check that? Do you have the checklist? Do you know is
I
rendering
do
to
not
multiple
have the
windows a thing
checklist.
I can do? Ever. And also, what does the implementation for that look like? Here's the render method. We draw a box. We draw all the sprites. So this menu has a render method. Window.draw every sprites. Window.draw every caption. And button.render. So button has a
Wow.
render method. Caption is an argument to draw. And sprite is
Like McDonald's Sprite?
it tastes like TV static.
TV static. No,
So
that's sparkling water.
s.drawable is uh, the actual contents. It's that you want to draw on the screen, and that gets passed to the window. So this is kind of a
Wow.
smattering. Let's return to the notes. Add a new note. Change the color to blue. That's on screen. That's on screen. Okay, so what we have is sprite, button. You know, I can hear the Little Mermaid music playing.
What?
You're literally watching like TikToks while you're supposed to be helping me with my stream.
I'm multitasking.
Okay, caption and
I
this.
can't focus if it's just like one thing at a time, you know? That doesn't make sense, but like,
No offense, bud, but you should work on that. Being able to concentrate for a while is an incredibly useful skill, and I don't know that they teach it anywhere.
no!
And then this goes straight to okay. So these are mismatched, I think, for no good reason. What I would really like to do is uh, either call render on all of them, and maybe let's just say that like we have the window is now in resources. it's funny because like I'm sure I had some very good reason why I didn't have a global thing like resources before when I was making this engine, but now I can't remember
Dude,
that reason, and it's just annoying to not have it. So I made it.
what the flip? What the flip?
So all of these things,
Maybe you should just like write down everything you do.
I honestly should, but like, even if I did, who has time to read everything I wrote down?
I'll like be your errand boy. I can't read out.
Sky, go read the last 80 pages of notes. Why did I do this?
Why'd I do this?
Why did I make this decision?
Just have to scan the
Hey,
last 80 pages.
I did this thing, and it seems kind of stupid now. Can you convince me that it was a good idea? Here are my notes. Good luck. Okay, so I think render is the correct way to do it.
I have a question.
Ask.
If you're flying through the desert and your boat gets a flat tire, what should you have in your pockets?
You're getting this.
The answer is blue because ice cream doesn't have bones. You know? No.
That indeed
Wow,
was
whoa.
that indeed was a thing that was said. It was. It truly
That was a thing that was said.
truly one of the paragraphs of all time. So let's render without any args, and let's
No
render upon
args.
children.
Whoa. Render upon children. No args.
Argless children will be rendered. It doesn't sound bad, but it definitely sounds suspicious.
Sus. Among Us. Hold on. Among Us.
Because what I think I would like to do, caption is... What does a caption even have? To the code. Because caption, I think, is the weird one out of all of these. If we look at it, a caption is... Well, where is it? UI menu.h. Captions is a SF text. So that's actually provided by my graphics library. And I'm not adding any stuff to it. So... Actually, this is in my browser history, so obviously I had to look at this last time. But here's the documentation. Oh, that's the other thing the streamer should be called. Programmer looks at documentation for 4 hours straight. There's a SF drawable, which I think...
Test stream, please ignore. Heck no. How are you, dude? That's what someone in the chat said. Trust.
Hey!
How are you, dude?
I should probably have the chat up, but I don't because my whole screen is an entire mess.
Clean up your screen. No.
I know. It's such a mess because that's what it takes to keep the one screen clear to show anything.
You need to change the title.
What does it say?
Test stream, please ignore.
Yeah, that's the opposite of what I want people to do. Dang it! How do I do that?
Bro does not know how to.
Okay, how do I do that? Hold on. Okay.
Just do it, man.
Just do it, man. Let's
Just do it, man.
Let's
You go to
let's
twitch.com
let's do that. Okay, twitch.com. It's twitch.tv
or TV, whatever.
channel.
Channel, my channel. Yeah.
Hey, look, it's me. Oh,
Hey, look, it's you watching your own stream,
we're going
watching your
down to
own
infinite
stream,
regrets.
watching your own stream, watching your own stream, watching your own stream.
Hey.
It should be like down there somewhere. You should have an
Yeah.
option
Edit.
to
Let's
edit
pick
it.
edit. Test stream, please ignore. Okay.
Not a test stream. Do not ignore. Yeah. Hey man, I'm the invisible guy. You know.
Done. Okay. Hey. Oh. Yeah. Done. Mischief managed. That's.
You should add me to your stream.
I mean, how?
I'll just send you the picture that I have. Remember? The picture I have on my streams.
Oh. You know what would be super fancy if I could make it light up when you talk.
I've seen like VTubers and stuff do that, but I'm pretty sure you have to. I don't know.
I'm waiting for the image whenever you got a minute.
Oh yeah, I got it. I think somewhere, you know. Here it is. Trust. There we go.
Hey. Okay. Save. What folder did I save it in?
Downloads.
Here, all right, and what do I need to add? Add a picture
Public types.
in the OBIS.
Enum style.
Okay, and where did I save that again? I can't remember where I saved it.
Bro cannot remember where he saved.
Where do you want to be? Other corner or something?
Other corner.
Does seem
Yeah.
seem good.
Perfect.
I'll,
There we go.
I'll slide myself. There you go. There, you made it. You're on the stream.
I'm on the stream. Let's go. It's me.
He's huddled in blankets. He's cowering from all the code, but I continue showing him how to program anyway. Is it a school night? Do we have to go to bed soon?
Maybe. I don't know. Is it a school night?
Wait, I have drawing. I have accomplishments so far. Like, that's 2 check marks. So it's not useless. Also, we did some of your non-homework homework, so it wasn't a useless
Non-homework homework.
But now I
Non-required homework.
not required to do at home, not required to do right now. You're just an overachiever. So.
Yeah.
I like that one. This needs to. I think I'm going to do a bad thing and just go ahead and do a polymorphism. Let's do a polymorphism.
Polymorphism.
Oh yeah. So basically we have all right. So here's UI menu. UI menu. It's a class. I defined it. So let's say I want to make a new thing called UI drawable.
Wow.
And UI drawable is what's called a base class. So what I really want to do is I want to put the render function on UI drawable. And what that means is UI menu, the derived class, will have render because it is derived from that. But what I also want is for caption, which I'll have to create myself, is a new derived class, also of UI drawable. So it will also have a render, whereas presently it does not. It only is drawable at all because SFML knows about the text class. It's from SFML's own library, SF text. That's the thing that I'm calling a caption. Well, I need to make a caption class myself that also derives from SF text. So in this case, caption, the new class I'm creating, is going to have multiple inheritance. It's going to be derived from multiple classes. And likewise, I think I should do that with sprite.
Why are classes so weird?
You know why? It's because, in truth, nothing in the entire universe fits into categories, but we humans, with our pattern perception capabilities, do our absolute best to cram everything into neat and tidy boxes. There's there's no such thing as taxonomy. Like there's no such thing as a mammal. It's just we're all kind of close enough that that is how stuff got sorted, how stuff got labeled. But if you look close enough, everything's weird. Nothing's the same. It's a big dirty world out there, and I don't like it.
Interesting.
Sorry about the tangent. That's what you're here for, Sky, is to get me on tangents. So, whatever sprite.drawable is, I want that to be the other thing that sprite derives from. So I can actually, during render, these guys will... I picked out sprite and caption here. Those are the two weird ones because they're using window.draw to get drawn. So basically, I want them to derive from the SFML class. I want them to treat self, or in C++ terms, this, the pointer to their own self, as something that can be sent to window.draw. And if there's any extra stuff I need, I'll define it in my weird classes. So that's the idea. It's coming into focus now. I don't think I'm going to finish it on this stream, but in terms of, can I go back to these goals? This is what I'm doing to solve number 3. Captions, sprites, buttons, UI menu are all going to be derived like this. And I think button is not on this, but button is going to be like the most obvious. Oh man, I just thought of something brilliant.
Bro had an idea.
Bro had an idea. Okay, new color. Picking the pen back up. So here's the idea. Button can just go away. What if UI menu had a click method? That's the only difference between a UI menu and a button. So here's the thing about a button is that a button has, by default, text you can put on it and something that happens when you click on it. The click event can call different code for every button. What if you could click on a UI menu? It could be it's optional, so they don't have to have a click event. But if there was, what you can do is you can say UI menu, with its children.
With its children.
If it has a child of a caption, bro, that's a button. So you just add a caption onto a menu, give it a click event, that's a button. And then I don't have to maintain another class. The ability to be clicked is already figured out in the button class. I just need to abduct that capability up to the UI menu class. And I'm wondering if menu is the right name for this thing I'm making instead. Maybe I should call it I want to call it frame or box. Naming stuff is the hard part, right? Is this fun? Is it fun to draw stuff? I have fun drawing it. I think the handwriting is a good touch, I think. I don't know. Either how, that's what's going through my brain trying to make this work.
Wow.
It is definitely an idea. I I really am not sure. The jury is out on whether or not this is a good idea. But let's figure it out because I'm going to start doing it. It's like in 20 minutes. Wow, this is an awful idea. Okay, so as a hack, put this in as a idea. There's no such thing as UI drawable. So the only thing UI drawable should have is render. UI box should have children. And how does button even work? Okay, bad idea incoming. How does a button work? Nothing to it but to read the code. Okay, button.h. Here's the class. The constructor is defined right inside the header. Say pragma once. Yeah, good. So the button constructor, there's really no button.cpp. How does this work then? Choose on a lot of SFML vector stuff. It's got a rectangle shape. It's got text for a caption. And it's got a string for the action. That's how it works. So the idea here is the action is just a string. And that string becomes, well, what? We render it, that's okay. Get action returns the action. So I think this is only operated in, let's see, is it Python scene? Let's find button here. This is like mouse click events. Different sense of the word button.
Mouse click events. What?
UI buttons get first chance during a left click event. So, okay, so the pair is going to be what's in MCRFPY API menus? I think that is a map from string to menu. Oh no, let's have a look at it. String to UI menu. Okay. So when you click it, second would be string. The first part, string, pair dot first, would be the label of the menu. Second would be the menu object. If it's not visible, you can't click it. Makes sense. For every button in UI menu buttons. And that says if b.contains, so it's the contains method. On button, look, like every file is open now. There's button.cpp. A lot of it's just defined in the header though, which is a little bad. Contains. So this just figures out if the mouse cursor is inside of that button. And if it is, it returns true. And If that returns true, then Python scene will call API do action with whatever that string is. Okay, so uh, basically, I hate that. That was a huge mess to unravel how and why I did that, right? So instead, you're like, yeah, that was pretty awful. I don't even know if I can fit it on here. So that would be like button. Nope, I'm not even going to try. I'm not going to try to draw how that works. It's just simply too long and wrong to bother. How can this be better? Okay, so uh, entertain me for a moment that. Okay, new blank screen. Let's put the dots. Boop. Just gonna make sure I stay in bounds. Okay, so let's say we have a box. Nice box, right? And inside
Yeah.
that box is another box. And inside that box, there's another box. And I clicked, let me change color, right here. How should we figure that out? What's the method there? So what I would say is that this box has a coordinate, the top left coordinate. That's its XY position. And that's its position on the screen. From 0, 0 is the top left corner, and 1920, 1080 or whatever is the other corner of the screen, or whatever your screen resolution is. This guy has got another coordinate, and that coordinate is based off of its parent's top left. So if the parent has a position of like 100, 150, this inner box has a position of whatever this distance is in actual screen pixels. Likewise, third box. So what I would like to do is basically ask the UI menu, or whatever UI box name I come up with, or whatever.
This someone has a question. Would you
Excellent.
be using the same method if these were triangles in 3D space?
Oh, for the love of God, absolutely not. So that's actually a question for the roadmap, because I have decided to not move into 3D space until I've mastered 2D space. And so in the 2D world, everything is exactly flat in screen coordinates. And I've actually probably started making some of the headway. Like if we fire up this dang thing, 7DRL, make a road face, and run it. If I zoom in here, screen coordinates are not exactly the same as world coordinates. So like every one of these tiles that this guy's on has an XY position that's an integer. And if you scoot around, you have a different offset. So there's like a lot of math involved in the coordinate translation just to allow zoom and pan against a grid, which honestly is math I didn't do well. I just tried like every possible way to add, subtract, and multiply stuff to get it to cooperate. It took a while. I was very bad at it. Uh, 3D space, it's just like a whole nother dimension for me to have to screw it up. So I'm holding off on the triangular bit until I get the rectangular bit nailed down. So the way I'd like to do this, like just assuming that like, hey, this guy is actually in window coordinates. How can I take the cursor XY and do the plus minus on it so that when the screen coordinate mouse pixel goes to box 1, here's box 1, that guy gets some position. He checks if it's inside of his own bounds, and that would be obviously because we have this screen position. That is, it's inside all 3 of the boxes, and that's something I want to emphasize is that, like children here, let's go with red, cannot, right here, children cannot exceed the bounds of their parent under this paradigm. It would not be allowed because when a parent receives an event, it can see that it's internal to itself, and then it can recurse to see if any children claim the event. So the idea is I only want this box to have to care about its own position on the parent and its own size to decide whether or not the event is internal to it. So, doable, but the idea really would be to call something, maybe click. That's like a decent, something that the outer box can receive as an event and then recursively call on its children. So this guy, let's call these guys like box 1, box 2, and box 3. In a sense, box 1 knows about box 2, but it doesn't even know about box 3. So, box 1 is going to get this mouse event, check if it's internal, and then this would probably be like, Boolean. And the trick behind that is you want to return if you consumed it. Because if there's stuff stacked on top, let's say we call .click on box 1, but box 1 is listed as invisible, or maybe it just doesn't have a click event on it, then it can return false that the event wasn't used, and then the game can try to either have like a default thing, like maybe start a click and drag event. Basically, you don't want the mouse clicks to not work just because you clicked on a certain box or not, unless that certain box is like a button and is supposed to do something. So, okay, I tangented. This guy is on mute, so he must have fallen
I'm
asleep.
on mute.
You were just quiet.
Not
and I
on
was
mute.
like, oh,
Yeah, I
put
was
him to
just
sleep.
quiet. I probably do need to go to sleep though.
Yeah, what is it? 9:30. It's
Yeah.
past 9:30. Look, you let me talk too long. That's way too long. Let me just look at the list again and say, is everything on fire? Yes.
Yeah. No.
Tell her we're done. We're wrapping up. We're saying
He said we're wrapping up.
we're saying goodbye because I went 10 minutes over how long I wanted to be here, but that's
Okay.
what happens when I was talking too long.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna pick up exactly here, not tomorrow night because I have AI Academy class to go to. But Wednesday night, I'll be back doing the same exact thing in the same exact place at 8 p.m. Eastern. Sky, you are in another class at that time, I think, so you can't come along. But
In the morning.
8
Oh
8 p.m.
no,
at night.
tomorrow's Wednesday. Yeah,
Tomorrow's Tuesday. It's a Monday, bud.
Tuesday. Oh yeah. Tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday, right?
Yes.
I don't have another class. 8 p.m.
Wednesday, 8 p.m.
Oh yeah.
It's the day after tomorrow. That's how weekdays work.
No, it's not.
Come back if you have the time. That would be fun. You can
Okay.
continue to heckle me while I continue to struggle with the code. All right. Goodbye, chat. Goodbye, Sky.
Goodbye.